Hello there, good morning. Welcome to day 3 of the week. It's a Wednesday, like the Germans will say, wunderbar, wonderful Wednesday. And from here in the studios of Joy News, we're grateful for your time. My name is Benjamin Akakwa. I do this together with Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. Now, coming up shortly, the news will be served to you hot and spicy. And right after that, political scientist and director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Asah Asante, will join us for the news review, followed quickly by Muftau Nabil Abdullahi with sports. But then we get into our big stories, and number one on the plate, we're going to be considering that spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Now, it has left some communities in distress. There are claims that the residents were not aware of the planned spillage. Those are some claims that have been made so far. We've been interacting with residents and opinion leaders on how exactly this is affecting them. Not a fortunate situation. But then again, on December the 19th, 2011, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 66/170 to declare October the 11th, today, the International Day of the Girl Child, to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. The International Day of the Girl Child focuses attention on the need to address the challenges girls face and to promote girls' empowerment and the fulfillment of their human rights. Now, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and at its 17th Sustainable Development Goals, adopted by world leaders in 2015, they embody a roadmap for progress that is sustainable and leaves no one behind, including our young girls. We've got a conversation on this as well this morning on the AM show. Also coming up, we'll be giving you the scoop as Liberia went to the polls yesterday. What is the latest? Runoff, or is it going to be a straight win? We'll bring you the details of that. Together with AM Business, you know it's a Wednesday, and courtesy of EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, will come your way with AM Business. Stay tuned for all of that, and that's what we're serving you this morning. Also, we'll bring you some scoop on the National Science and Math Quiz. All of that on our chopping board this morning. But for now, stay with us for the news. Up next. Thank you for staying with us. Welcome to our news belt. And on our first story, the director of the Center for Migration Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Mary Boatema Setrana, is worried about how some human activities instigate disaster and endanger lives. She's condemned indiscriminate dumping of refuse at unauthorized places and buildings on waterways, as such activities contribute to disaster and displace people. Karen Obeng has more in this report.
Speaking at the launch of a research project geared towards avoiding man-made disasters, Professor Boateng Setrana entreated the government to enforce public safety laws. Touching briefly on the theme, strengthening knowledge, evidence use and leadership in the global south on forced displacement, focus on Anglophone West Africa, he revealed the research will offer African leaders the best policies to prevent man-made disasters. Provost of the College of Humanities at the University of Ghana, Professor Daniel Frimpong Ofori, equally expressed worry over human activities that apparently cause disasters.
Already in the literature, we know climate change is part, conflict is part, human violation rights is part, and several other factors. I mentioned development projects like infrastructure, roads, buildings that is being put up, and so people are moved from their places without proper resettlement, without proper compensation.
The project is going to do this assessment, and the focus is on West Africa. And we are going to be looking at Ghana as well, because Ghana is part of West Africa. So we want to see the causes of displacement and how these affect people and what we can do to, manage the situation or ensure that people who suffer such displacement do not become disadvantaged.
Karen Obeng's report read to you.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Bahas Foundation, a non-governmental organization that specializes in the well-being of mentally challenged people up north, wants Ghanaians to stop stigmatizing people with mental health issues. Now, speaking at the celebration of the World Mental Health Day in Wa, he asked Ghanaians to be empathetic to mental health patients in order to speed up their healing processes. Rafiq Salam now reports.
In the Upper West region, the day was celebrated with a local team, women-led advocacy for mental health and justice for abused children. It was spearheaded by mental health-centered non-governmental organization, Bahas Foundation. As a result of that, several women groups in the region, including chiefs, queen mothers, hairdressers, dressmakers, weavers, joined 24 mental challenged persons for this year's celebration of the Mental Health Day. Ilyas Ubaba is the Chief Executive Officer of Bahas Foundation.
Yeah, I want to see the mental ill back into the society. That's why I bring a lot of people together to mix with them, and they'll feel that we are one. There's no difference between you, Mr. Rafiq, and then you and him, Seydou Santana, the mental ill chairperson. So I want people to know that in Upper West here, we have a sympathy, we have a love for the mental ill people. That's why I brought a lot of people. We mix together, eat together, dance together, and dance together.
Looking into the future, he wants to construct a mental home for mental challenge in the region so that their issues will be properly taken care of.
We have gotten support from individual and organization. As we are speaking now, we have 5,000 blocks at the site. So we are still appealing for the general public or any organization that can come into our aid. Like what Grey News has been doing, the support that they have been giving to us, we can pay them back. If they quantify it, we can pay them back. We are still appealing to individuals to come to our day and support us in, either material or in cash to put this structure for the mental ill people.
Now, a new hub space created to support new tech startups with technological tools, platforms has been established in the Techiman municipality of the Bono East region. Chief Executive Officer of Agrio Hub, George Mfibuesiako, says the project will also bring together innovators, inspire and build their skills, as well as support them with startup funding through the hub's new startup credit union.
The new Agrio Hub space is designed to provide physical space that brings together researchers, creators and innovators to nurture ideas into industry-changing products and services by helping develop entrepreneurial tech communities, inspire and build skills and networks among potential young entrepreneurs. Chief Executive Officer of the facility, George Mfibuesiako, says the new space focuses on startups as it gives them the needed support to help them excel.
What we intend to do is that we want to run an organization that's not just a training space, but a hub that is there to actually provide the space for startups and young businesses to be able to have that peaceful environment to grow their businesses. So we try to come up with innovative programs and innovative spaces to be able to make it more accommodating for startup businesses.
He noted that beyond the provision of this space to enable them nurture their ideas, the hub is also supporting new startups with funding support through its new startup credit union.
As an organization, we are bringing out these products and services to be able to train, coach, and mentor startups and also help them by funding them. So we have, for the first time, introduced what we call Startups Cooperative Credit Union. That is a union of the startups that we are supporting. So after Agrio Hub has trained them, giving them all the support through acceleration program, we move them to the cooperative so that the cooperative can also support them with funding. So that is how we have structured our operation coming into our new space.
Andrew Kofi Akoto-Addo is the communications officer at Reach for Change. He is optimistic that the new space will go a long way to help young people and enterprise support players to help them excel in the entrepreneurial space.
The second thing is that having a facility where creators like myself or ecosystem players like myself can come in and then sit and then interface or discuss issues that are confronting our economy, and then also come to see and partner with Agrio Hub is one thing that we must be able to commend the visionary George and Tribue Sako and then the team for seeing this and for making sure that we have this space to call a home for enterprise support players, for ecosystem builders. Whenever they want to come to Techiman to come and do something here, they have somewhere that they can come in and collaborate and work with the team here to drive this impact.
For the founder of One Hive Ghana, who also serves as the Director for Gender, Inclusivity and Equity at the Ghana Hubs Network, Janat Isifu, young women need to identify their talents and take advantage of such innovation spaces scattered across the country.
This will be my advice to women out there watching. I think you have the potentials, and I think there are a lot of challenges that need to be solved even when it comes to our development as women, and we are the only people that understands our issue. And so I'm calling all women on board, regardless of the situation or where you find yourself. You have a talent, you have an idea that is going to be very, very instrumental in developing the capacity of women, in supporting the community and also Ghana at large. And so this is the time to take the action. This is the time to move and put our ideas into action.
Reporting for Joy News, Asah Asante, Techiman.
Now, the Absa Bank has supported the Yapalsi MA Junior High School with 30 computers to equip the students with practical ICT knowledge. The bank also renovated the classroom and furnished it to make academic work better. Here's Martina Bugri's report.
An emotional moment for the girls prefect of the Yapalsi MA Junior High School when her school received computers. Nashiru Memuna attends a government school but has never used a computer even though her school is in the northern regional capital, Tamale. She therefore could not hold back her tears knowing that she can have access to these computers to learn. This, she believes, would help her achieve her aim.
I was crying because I want to be like her when I also grows up so that I can help my colleagues who are attending government schools. It means a lot to me. When we have the computers, it can make us learn. It can make us learn so that we can also become some people in the future.
Manager of Absa Bank, Ellen Ohene Afuakwa, said seeing Memuna emotional has energized Absa Bank and they will do more, adding that technology is key for the future of this generation.
We felt it was fulfilling and it also energized us to do more. For us in Absa, we believe that we need to empower Africa's tomorrow together, one story at a time. And this really is a form of inspiration for us to do more. The world is changing. We are in a global village now, and being technologically savvy is key for the growth of this country and also the development of the children of this country. So for us, we feel that it's something that we need to really focus on and do more of those. Yeah, we are energized to do more. And I know my team and I are committed to do more. We believe that we need to give back to society. And this is our way of saying thank you to God for how far He's brought us. We'll be doing more.
Madam Ellen added that they earlier supported the Tamale Technical University with some computers. She said this is the second school in the area.
Earlier this year, we donated 50 computers to Tamalika University. So this is the second one in this community. But this is our third time that the Corporate and Investment Banking units pooled resources together to support schools. We did one orphanage and we did one Catholic school. So this is our third school. We believe that technology is key for the future of the kids of this country. And we need to empower the future of children of this country. Hence this donation. Yeah, we gave 30 computers and furnished the room with furniture and also did the painting and all that to make sure that it's conducive for the computers to function very well.
The headmistress of the school, Miss Antoinette Adams, said the donation is timely and will help the school.
This donation wouldn't have come any other time rather than today. A time when we are in a global digitization where children need to be computer literate. We are very grateful.
The head of planning unit at the Sanergo Municipal Assembly, Abukari Ayamba, said the 21st century education comes with ICT. Therefore, the support would go a long way to help.
It is something that is going to help us as far as 21st century of education is concerned. Learning is very important these days, but if you are not ICT inclined, you will be left out. And Absa Bank have come to help us to do that.
Under the National Science and Math Quiz, St. Peter's SHS St. Augustine's College at Abri Girls will slug it out at the 1/8 stage of the competition. The contest is one of the many highly anticipated but nerve-wracking contests. Emmanuel Raikweku has put together highlights of some of the highly anticipated contests.
Of strength in the name of Jesus.
Prayers being said from the camp of tranquility after Archbishop Porter Girls SHS secured the last slot to the 1/8 stage. Tensions were high and spirits near crash as the ladies marched booth for booth with St. Monica's in a tiebreaker for the 12th slot. Their journey to the finals is a lot steeper now that they have to face one-time finalist Wesley Girls. But students and teachers are convinced of better performance.
If we put in more effort, we are going to get there. So all we have to do is to just work hard and to pray to God, and we believe that we are going to do it and we are going to make it.
Our main aim is to be seeded. That's our first objective. So definitely we'll get there.
Its sexual reproduction is sometimes disadvantageous because Wesley Girls, it allows sedentary animals to produce offspring without mates.
False.
That is correct.
Meanwhile, Wesley Girls is poised for action to rewrite their history after losing their seed for the first time last year.
They should expect nothing but the best. They should expect competition, and they should not expect anything subtle or anything mediocre because we are girls.
The Battle of the Female Schools is one of the many highly anticipated and fiercest contests in the offing. At least two of such tense contests is one that features two-time champions St. Augustine's College, three-time champions St. Peter's, and the ladies up the hill, Abri Girls. The journey to the 1/8 stage has been rough for the Nkwatia boys of St. Peter's after qualifying as the 10th losing school with a higher score.
Find the length of a simple pendulum whose period is 2.0 seconds at a location where local gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. St. Peter's. Yes, Kingsley.
We have 9.8 meters.
That is incorrect. St. Peter's, you lost with 37 points. You may still have a lifeline to progress. Cation is a +1 state of the lightest metal in group 1 of the periodic table. Kumasi Academy, who am I?
Lithium tetraoxosulfate 6.
That is correct.
Revenge or history to repeat itself as Kumasi Academy clashes with Infantsville School after booting out the Kwabuche boys in 2020 to the preliminary stage.
At the end of the contest, these are the scores. St. Mary's Senior High School had 30 points. Infantsville School had 35 points. And Kumasi Academy had 53 points.
Defending champions Presec Legon face off Konongo Dumasi and Kumasi Wesley Girls for the last contest of the 1/8 stages. My name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
And on that brainy note, we cap off the news. But stay with us. Up next, we host Dr. Kwame Asah Asante for the news review. Welcome back on the AM show. It's time now for us to get into the newspapers, at least those we have, and let you know what they have to say. A lot of things going on across the world, from the Israeli end of things, Israeli-Palestinian end of things. I've been doing a lot more reading as a student of politics, international politics for that matter. I have done some reading in the past, but it's whipped up my interest, and I've uncovered some very interesting stuff. I'll run them by my guest. There's also that situation as far as the Akoso is concerned. All of these will be contemplated on the show, so do stay with us for some of that later. But for now, Dr. Kwame Asah Asante is our guest. He is a political scientist and director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Ukwadaba.
How are you, Ben?
I am well. I am well. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So let me just acknowledge quickly.
I can hear you. Right.
Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, they're offering free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman, and here's where you can find them for all your needs as far as your health is concerned. Here in Accra, at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi Kronum Abwehia behind the Angel Educational Complex, the Stakradia Naji State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswa and Siama and Zema. Their call lines 0244 867 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. And the start of the news review. Now, Doc, a few issues. I know you usually come armed with something you want to talk about, but I want to throw a few things at you as well. There was that assault on Ms. G in the studios of UTV. There had been an attempt to muzzle the show, so to speak, by a letter that had been written and ignored. And then some individuals stormed that place. The other bit has to do with Israel and Palestine, the recent Hamas incursion in Israel and the response. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has referred to it as war, all-out war, based on what has happened. And finally, for your reflection, for 3 nights now, the electricity company of Ghana has decided not to give me light. Not because there's any problem with my community, but I, together with a host of other people, use a certain type of meter. And guess what? Not just us, but others as well. You can't load credits onto the ECG app. And I'll keep saying this until Samuel Dubik Mahama, I gave him a personal call many days ago, until something is done. Yesterday, I went to a mobile money place, and guess what? A woman was telling me, this is my situation, and I told her, I'm in the same soup. So you can't load credits onto your meter, which means, guess what? Your light will be off. I've actually paid money to ECG. They've held my money. They've not given me electricity. If you go out to a vendor too, their network is down. What kind of country is this? I have a gentleman in the studio here with me. He's a cameraman. He's one of our, staff here, making it possible for you to see me on TV. He's facing the same situation. 3 nights. Before we get into the papers.
And I think you have raised a very important issue. That is the ECG issue. I am with you on the same score. And to put it bluntly, I'm in the same soup.
You're in the same soup? You're facing the
today,
same...
I want to touch on... Yes. Yes.
Wow. So,
yes.
So you've experienced darkness at home. I just want you to clarify. Has your light been off as well?
I come by. No, it's not off. What happened was that about 3 days ago, I was in school, and then my wife gave me a call that there's no power. Quickly, I used the app. I tried the app. I came home, tried. It never worked. It never worked. I contacted some vendors that I know that they said, well, it's not working. So early morning yesterday, I rushed to Adenta, a place called Lotto Kiosk, and I found a vendor, and he said, the network is down. If you can wait and let's see what happened. I was lucky that in no time, they said, well, let me see your what you have. And then I gave my meter number to them. They said, hey, you can buy something. So I quickly bought something.
Lucky you.
Because I didn't have money on me. Yeah. And then, I need electricity because of my fish thing. Yeah. So I need electricity to pump the water and all that. Let me tie you to about a month or 2 ago, there was this issue and they said it affected the whole of Greater Accra, whether it's true or not. But I went around everywhere and I never got it. And if you don't pump the water out, you lose the fish. Do you know, whilst I was moving from Adenta to Medina to other places and all that, somebody suggested to me that if you are going to lose your fish, why don't you have an electrician to connect something? I say, no thanks. You can't tell me that, right? I came back. Do you know how many pieces of fish I've lost? 150.
950.
I couldn't change the water.
950. Is that what you said?
Yes, I lost that. No, 150.
150. Samuel Dubik Mahama, if you are listening,
150.
Managing Director, ECG, if you are listening, this is what people are going through. I know people, barbershops, they've not been able to open. That's how they earn their living. I know people with cold stores. They have had to find alternatives. My fridge, some of the things in there, the meat in the freezer, I had some gizzard and stuff. All of it has gone bad. It has gone bad. And
what pains me is that this is a company that is saying that people are using electricity illegally. And you are creating this, condition for people. I'm not saying that people should use electricity illegally. No, I am against that. That is why when people suggested to me, I said, no, I won't go. I came home to suffer 150 loss. And that is if you want to do things right. But here you are. How long do we have to suffer this when we have resources to buy? And then ECG is not there to support us. You have an app and it's not working. Every morning, this morning I've checked many times, nothing is working. So sometimes when ECG face problems and all that, some of them are self-inflicted. And one of it is this. That day, I tell you, it's about a month ago, the whole of Accra, everybody was, I drove to so many places and I was not able to
I know,
credit.
because I've been going around as well, trying to find a vendor, and you simply can't. Wherever I went, look, I called my people at ECG. They would even try from the office. Nothing. The system was down. There was nothing you could do. And it's still down. So you are even fortunate at the time that window, I'm sure it was a brief window when you could get some top-up credits, because I've been trying since, was it Sunday?
A brief, because every week I buy about 500. All right. So I know it will go off any moment from now, but I don't know where to turn to. Meanwhile, I am ready to buy, but I don't have. So last time I was asking myself, should I go on postpaid meter or what?
I thought of that recently too.
I want to pay. Yes. ECG, please, you need to set up. You can't be saying that people are undermining the work and all that, and you yourself will not put your acts together. No, this app thing. If the app is not working, please find us an alternative. There is always a way out. You make the thing as if that there is no way out to your problem. That I can't take that. I can't take that. Here you are. Any moment from now, my light will go off. And what do I do?
Mine is off. You know what's interesting? When I spoke to the MD of the ECG, and I doff my hat to him, he's doing some fantastic things. I'll give him that. But if you let people go through this, in this country, we don't like suing and stuff. In other jurisdictions, people would take you on, and people would sue your socks off for taking their money. Especially in my case, you've actually taken my money. They still are holding my money. They've not given me the service. I don't have power.
Ben, not to cut you short,
heat
about a month and a half ago, the first one I experienced, I had paid 200, it never worked. I added 200, never worked. I ended up with 800 Ghana, and it never worked. You have taken my money. I am not able to access anything, and I'm in dark. And you are having my money, whether you have used it or not. That is not what I'm interested in. My interest is that let me get my energy. All right. And that day, my worry was that going around, people were suggesting to people, including my good self, somebody suggested to me, why don't you take an electrician to connect something for you? And I said, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. And that is the price I had to pay for saying no thanks. And I came back home that I have lost 150.
Yeah.
All right. Pieces of fish. Here you are. Here you are. But I will continue to be on that path, the path that I want to consume what I have paid for. All right. But the ECG, please, you need to up your game. We want to help you. I mean, illegal connection, I will always support you. The fight you are waging against illegal connection, I am with you. But when people are also ready to buy, make energy available for people to buy. Let it be accessible. It can be there, but if it's not accessible, it amounts to nothing.
Right.
It amounts to nothing. Ben, quickly, I'll jump.
So very quickly, so we can get into the papers. Maybe in the next 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds.
I'll jump onto the attack that was waged on UTV. I find it very worrying. And it is an attack against not only press freedom, but also democracy in this country. You and I know that from press perspective, and I'm speaking as a former editor, so I speak with that passion, and then from a certain informed position, all right, with all humility. The constitution of this country makes it abundantly clear that in practicing any vocation related to media, you have some freedoms.
Right.
And these things are found in the Constitution, clearly stated. Article 162 has a whole lot of provisions regarding the practice of media and the ethics and then, regulations and all that.
Right.
You and I know that without rule of law, we go back to the state of nature. Let's look at Article 162.1. They said, we have what? The media is free and independent in this country. This freedom of the media is guaranteed. Is guaranteed. And when they say something is guaranteed, it means that any attack on it, you can go to court and seek redress.
True.
Right. 2, then you move on to Article 162.4, where they talk that, 162.2, where they said there's no censorship as far as media work is concerned, that if media is doing its work, you have no business in censoring them, because this country has experienced that time past. All right. They did not, framers of the Constitution were clear in their mind that they did not want to go back to the old order. All right. So they put this thing in the Constitution to guide the conduct of media practice and then holders of political power. Article 164 also talk about that, the fact that there should not be 162.4 talks about what? No control whatsoever on or interference on the work of the media. And that if you are also offended by the publication or by the work of any media house, you are entitled to a rejoinder. That is what Article 162 or 6. Beyond that, you can also go to court and seek redress in the court and the rest of them. Media Commission is also there. So I found it very strange that, yes, a media organization is doing its work, and you find problems with the work. I mean, there's nothing wrong, you venting out your grievances and all that. But to suggest or to detect the pace or the content to them, then it creates a problem. What is even more is when people besiege that office, as it were, took over the station itself. Then we are going back to what? The state of nature, all right, where rule of law doesn't work. I found it very, very strange. What is even surprising is that the people claim that we are party boys, and that we demand A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, they are with the party. Up to date, I mean, we have not heard that the party deny that they are not party boys.
A lot of people put it out there. Legal luminaries, among others, say that.
So that is
right from the point when they started this, they knew that nothing would happen to them.
Yeah. My worry is that, one, you are destroying democracy. Democracy hinges on rule of law. All right. Rule of law has two components: equality before the law and due process. That we are all equal before the law, and that no decision can be taken or action without reference to the law. All right. So this decision of walking there to storm the place, to take over the whole process, was it within the framework of the law? No. Even if, just for the purposes of conversation, even if what the program that they criticize, even if they were wrong, all right, was it the appropriate way to address this? You don't use another wrong to correct a wrong. No. Two wrongs do not make what right. It is never done anywhere. And that is why the courts are there to address our views, our concerns, and all that. Right. So I was so surprised to see these things. I want to advise, and it's an advice for everybody, that look, we have come this far, and it's not just by accident. It's by dint of hard work that the country has arrived here on our democratic forward march.
Right.
We have gone through eras of difficulties, where at a point in time, media people could not speak. You only risk speaking on certain matter. The next day, you are in jail. The next day, you are arrested and detained. The next day, you are taken to certain places that you will not return and all that. We have gone past that. So the success we have chalked in this era, we want us to protect it jealously. It is so expensive, and people like us will stand up and be counted to defend media freedom. That is not to say that when media airs, you don't have the right to seek redress. That's why the courts are there. Go there and seek redress. Go to Media Commission, seek rejoinder and all that. And that once we don't we don't infringe upon the law, I am okay. My worry also is that all these things, right, when people do, especially people who are associated with political parties, they have the hope that their parties will come to their rescue and all that, and it emboldens them to misbehave and then do things in this regard. You and I are alive to a situation where hoodlums, stormed a particular court and took over, as it were, the court proceedings and all that. All right. This type of impunity cannot be countenanced. We have seen time and again where people manhandle pressmen and all that, and they get away with that. Let us remember that democracy without media is empty. It's empty. It cannot survive.
Thank you, Doc.
So let us safeguard this democracy by protecting media and making sure that the media is kept very tight. If they cross the line, let us use the legal process to address. But issue of attack, issue of force application of rights that do not belong to said people, those things must be thrown away.
Thank you so much. Later at the tail end, I'll ask for your quick reflections on what is going on, the engagements between Israel and Palestine. But for now, let's get into the newspapers. The Ghanaian Times newspaper this morning, after 50 years NSS to become authority. That's according to the president. Teresa Kufuor to be given state burial on November 16. May God rest her soul. And boy 15 arrested for allegedly killing grandmother at Bonasua. And then committee, parliamentary probe into leaked tape. Committee can't do open-ended, wide-ranging probe of entire police service. IGP legal team insists. All right, so let's get right down to it. Maybe we start off on a sad note. And a 15-year-old boy has been arrested by the police for allegedly killing his grandmother at Bonasua, a farming community in the Jaman South municipality of the Bono region. Reports gathered by the Ghanaian Times indicated that the teenager, only identified as Clifford, hit the 70-year-old woman, Abna Nketia, on the head with a club, killing her instantly. After committing the crime, according to the report, the boy allegedly single-handedly dragged the lifeless body of the grandmother into a backyard farm and buried her in a shallow grave. The assemblyman for Bonasua electoral area, Richard Fekra, confirmed the incident and added that the hitherto peaceful community was in shock of the incident. The assemblyman further disclosed to the Ghanaian Times that the 15-year-old boy had come to visit the grandmother and had incessantly demanded money from the old lady. But when she could not provide it, Clifford unleashed the dastardly act on her. May God have mercy on him and grant rest to his grandmother. But of course, the law will also have to take its course. Then, on page 11, though juvenile terms come in. But after 50 years, NSS to become authority. That's according to the president. And President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has affirmed his government's commitment to elevating the National Service Scheme beyond its current role. Consequently, a new draft policy document has been developed to guide the implementation of its activities. And then Teresa Kufuor to be given state burial on November 16, the former First Lady. Quick stories there for your consideration, Doc.
Yeah, Ben, I will also start on that sad story. Very, very sad that this has really happened. This story, without, one thing that comes out of this type of story is the issue of problems we have in our society, socialization, where we inculcate values in children so that they develop to become the best for society. Is that what we are experiencing now? All right. 15 is a child. So you realize that we need to up our game. One, starting with the agencies of socialization, the family, starting with the school, starting with public places such as the churches, the mosques, the shrines, and all that. We have to intensify our socialization process and inculcate rich societal values in children. Sometimes you have to also delve back into certain homes and find out what exists in terms of problems, parent, children, relationships, and the rest of them. There's a whole lot. And I believe that the Social Welfare Department would take note of this. And then we help generally so that we save our young people, we save our families, and we save the society. It's very, very unfortunate that this has happened. The issue of national service. I am happy for the announcement given by the president. Yes, it's going to be an authority. It is something worth commenting on because the national service has existed for a very long time. Our time, we had to serve twice. A-level, then and after A-level national service, then after university national service. And I tell you, if you look at the work that national service people have done in this country, I salute them. I take the opportunity to salute them, to salute the secretariat, and to salute all government for supporting this scheme up to today. It is true that sometimes there are difficulties, there are problems with the work that they do, but I tell you, they have contributed their bit. It's a lot. You can talk about rural areas where you don't have teachers and all that. And national service have been posted to all these places, and they have supported the state through thick and thin. My worry is that before we move to authority and all that, we should make sure that they get regular, stipend, what is due them. We get it to them on time. I thought that problem is a thing of the past, but talking to some of the service personnel, you realize that you still have that problem, even though, to be fair to government have also been able to pay from time to time, but there are still backlog and all that. It is my hope and prayer that we clear all these things and let them also have that sense of relief and then be able to do their work and do it well. My also joy is what I heard from the speaker, that people have turned their service personnel to errand boys and girls and all that. That should cease forthwith. They are there to serve play a certain role, and they are not there for such businesses. So let us direct them as to how the state want them to be directed. But I tell you, if you develop this could be the game changer for the youth mobilization and development in this country.
Right. Let's go on with the Daily Guide newspaper, the Finder, and then the Ghanaian Publisher very quickly. Daily Guide, Cecilia Dapa versus OSP palaver deepens. And of course, in recent times, what we heard was that she was saying, she was broke and her assets shouldn't be touched again, based on that second freezing motion by the OSP. IGP fights Atachia. Then Frimpong Boateng Galamsey claims empty. That's according to the AG. So you remember the claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng. The AG is saying they are empty without anything in there. Alan Wu's Kennedy to butterfly movement and NSS to be made authority. So let me just give you a bit of the scoop. The Office of the AG, the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, has concluded its review of a docket submitted by the police on the allegations contained in a 36-page document written and signed by Professor Frimpong Boateng. The reports, which included the work of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, accused some government officials and private individuals of either engaging in illegal mining, that is galamsey, or inhibiting the work of the committee in its fight against illegal mining. Now, the AG's advice to the CID sets out the various allegations made by Prof against each person named in the report and indicated that the police interviewed and took statements from the persons cited in the allegations contained in the report. It said they all denied the allegations made against them. However, several attempts by the police to obtain further information from Prof to substantiate the allegations in the report and assist them to conduct further investigations proved futile. How would he be willing to go ahead when he was being assaulted, battered left, right, and center in written pieces, in verbal, pieces on social media, on broadcast, entities? When you do that to him, how do you expect him to come forward? But that is what the AG is saying. So that is that. I'll add the one on page 6 and get your reactions. On page 6, Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen, a former Minister of Trade and Industry who left the ruling MPP to start a change movement with a butterfly as its emblem, has extended an open invitation to Kennedy Ejapong to help him. That's the Asin Central lawmaker. Quick thoughts on these matters.
Yes, I'll start with the Professor Frimpong Boateng's, story. It is unfortunate in that we are where we are now. The professor wrote us a report. I'm not a lawyer, but in my mind, I believe that should be the building block for any investigation if we want to be serious about the whole exercise. That you need to be able to look at all the allegations that have been leveled and then see how best you can go into it in terms of investigation. If you want materials, of course, in law, you are subjected to strict proof and all that. But you can also rely on reports such as Joy FM's Erastus Donko's report. He had done so many on what galamsey and what is happening. And so why can't they also rely on this if we want to really get to the bottom of it? But to wish it away and saying that it is not fit for purpose, all right, are we saying that Galamsey is not happening in this country? Are we saying that there is nothing that we can find relevant to what is happening in terms of even other reports, such as what Joy have done? You have done a lot of documentaries. I've been listening to them. People, apart from Joy, other groups and all that they have. And they have video evidence and all that. If they show you to you, you can start investigation with this. If we play with this Galamsey menace, this Galamsey problems, a time will come, we'll not be able to control it. We've started hearing problems. We don't know. The science has not established issue of kidney problems and all that. We don't know the cause now that is gaining ascendancy.
The science has established
but
it.
I will not.
If you look at our documentaries, Poison for Gold, Destruction for Gold, among others, and the different ones that we're having, the medical authority a lot of these in those areas where contamination is heavy. In fact, we have documentaries on such. And it is no longer something about whether it is. It is affecting them. Some children are being born without even their sexes able to be determined because of poisoning.
Thank you for that information. Here you are. So a time will come, let us not forget, all of us can be candidates, can be, patients one day relative to the issue we are talking about. So let us be very careful. It is incumbent upon us to safeguard the ecology and save our life. It's not for fun that God gave us this environment and that we need to keep it clean at all times. But if we want to destroy it, and we as holders of political power, we don't care a hoot about it. We want to, any accusation and all that, we want to throw it away. We don't want to go into details of it. Let's give ourselves time. The reality will dawn on us, and the truth will come out. Remember, truth is always one.
So I don't forget, just a reminder that when you're wrapping, I would like your quick thoughts on what is going on between Israel and Palestine. But before we get there, I saw a message come through on Joy News on Facebook. If you've not been watching, those of you out there, you can always pick up your phone and watch us live. This message says, where is it? Okay. For about 3 months now, ECG has been giving very high estimated bills for those of us using postpaid. Postpaid, okay, right. My bill has been constant every month. That is 753 cedis. It is constant. How can this be possible? How can you sit somewhere and imagine what my bill should be without the meter being read? That is another problem that has been in the offing. But the final newspaper, dismissal, fear grips UG Lagos students, level 200, 300 students with CGPA below 1 to be sacked. You're very familiar with that. And it appears a lot of people are going to fall victim to that. UTV condemns attack, says it won't be deterred. And then the Ghanaian publisher newspaper, AG justifies rejection of Galamsey report. Frimpong Boateng provided no evidence. Okay. Ghana ni we day inside. Your final thoughts, Dr. Kwame Asah Asante.
Yes, I'll look at the UG story. All right. I've seen it in the social media and the rest of them. Then I ask myself, why? What is news about this? This is part and parcel of the way we mold people in the university. And Ben, you are alive to this provision. Our time, even the grade point average that you supposed to keep you on the surface of water is 1.5. So Commonwealth Hall, we're making a lot of fun about it. That if you don't work towards 1.5, you are going to be pushed out of the university. It's a standard practice. We don't admit people just to come there and not be serious with your books. Parents put children there to go there, develop themselves, build capacity, and come and be worth their salt to society. So when you go, there are rules of engagement. And these things are captured clearly in our books and handbook and all that. Unfortunately, you see students don't read them. They come and then they play games with lectures and all that. The day of reckoning is there. And that if you don't meet the threshold, I'm afraid you'll be thrown out. And irrespective of whoever is involved, you'll be thrown out.
Right.
It's normal. Let also the public know that it's not only students who are thrown out of university for poor performance. lecturers, all right, if you don't publish and you are a lecturer, you sit in the university, you'll be thrown out. That is a system that checks both what, faculty and student.
Right.
So this one, those who really want to learn and want to abide by the rules of the game will be maintained. Those who cross the line, we will throw them out.
Right. Doc, we have to go. So I want your succinct thoughts. If you can do 30 seconds, I'd be so grateful. Israel, Palestine. I know I'm squeezing you into a tight corner, but what do you think?
Yes. To be honest with you, I've not been following the story. I've been doing other stuff, but I know this thing has been lingering on for years. It's a difficulty. I don't know how we are going to deal with it, because every time there are twists and turns relative to the issues and all that. So, it's a very difficult one. But the current one, what has really triggered this, I am not aware of that. If you can really help me with that.
So though we are pressed for time, Hamas on the eve of Yom Kippur, this is an attack on Israel some 50 years ago. On the cusp of it, when they were about to mark the anniversary, Hamas infiltrated Israel on land, via air, with paragliders, among others. And, Israelis have these kibbutz, that they call these communities with communal living. Everything is shared, kind of like the socialist kind of living. Attacked a number of them across, some of the borders of Israel. Some of them infiltrated into the towns and literally gunned down people, took hostages and all of that. Of course, these are said to be reprisals for some things that Israel has also done. But this scale has never been seen before, and Israel is saying this is all-out war. I think that's the best summary I can give you. But maybe we'll push more of that. I'll give you time because the numbers are huge on both sides. I'll give you time to reflect on them, and maybe the next time we engage, we'll get into the details.
Yes. I'm sorry, I've not been following that. I've been looking at other issues and all that, but
right.
Not. So we'll look at that and we'll come back with the bank. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kwame Asah Asante, my own former lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. He also is the director of the Center for European Studies. He was gracious enough to join us this morning. Doc, have a wonderful day. Okay, so right before we get into sports, and I'm sure you're waiting for all the action from the last few days, especially yesterday, Eden Hazard, also, as we know, is retiring from international football. But this segment brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering you, if you're a man, prostate screening for free. If you're a woman, fertility screening, gratis. You won't pay anything. Locate them here in Accra at Spentex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Krodumwabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrade Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hansway, the Siaman Zama. Their call lines 0244-867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Sports is up next. Do stay.
Time now for AM Sports. I am Muftahu Nabila Abdullah. The likes of Tariq Lamte, Daniel Amate, who were making a return to the Black Stars, have pulled out due to injury. Also, Alexander Jiku, Bukari Osuman are all out of the friendly matches. The Black Stars will be playing against Mexico and USA on October 14 and 17. Respectively. According to the Ghana Football Association, the quartet have been replaced by Kingsley Schindler, Jerome Opoko, and Stefan Ambrosius. Schindler and Stefan Ambrosius are currently in camp in Charlotte to prepare for the two games, whilst Jerome Opoko is expected on Wednesday, which is later today. Ghana will take on Mexico on Saturday, October 14 at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, before playing the United States of America on Tuesday, October 17 at the Jordis Park in Nashville, Tennessee. Meanwhile, 19 players were available for the training session that happened on Tuesday. On your shot right there is Jordan Ayew, as well as the likes of Ernest Nyoma, also in there. Then this is Joseph Edu. All these players were available for the training session, which was led by head coach Chris Hilton on Tuesday in the United States, as the team gets ready for those two friendly matches on October 14 and 17. So October 14 is this weekend, which is Saturday, and 17 is next week, Tuesday. Those friendly matches will happen. That is Inaki Williams, Ali Seidu on your shot, Gideon Mensah, Ernest Nyoma, and behind you is also Jonathan Sowa. And then Antoine Semenyo, there's Abdul Salih Samet, and in between them is Ernest Nyoma. This is Abdul Samet and Thomas Partey, who is also making a return to the team ahead of those two friendly matches to be played on Saturday and Sunday. This is Joseph Pencil on your shop, and behind Joseph Pencil is Edmond Addo. Now let's move on and talk other stories, and we still continue to bring you stories of Joy Thought Leadership Program, where Daniel Macaulay, who is the executive chairman of McDan Group, has called on the government of Ghana to have a deliberate plan on how it wants to position sports in the country to be able to sell Ghana.
If you looked at the Saudi Arabia model, they are ahead of us in terms of finance, so they can choose to bring the people home. We can have a talent basket from here and control the world. Whenever I talk about leadership, a lot of people think it's an easy thing. Leadership is not an easy thing. If you want to drag government into business, into football, there must be what we call deliberate effort by government. It must be a deliberate effort by government and the political leaders to say, this is the dream, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
Why should Kagame sponsor Arsenal, Rwanda on their shirt? I'm not a marketing person, but there is the need to sell your country.
Of course.
Football has sold Ghana than any other product in Ghana. Where are we coming from? I'm a businessman. By 2030, Saudi Arabia wants to push $22 billion in football.
Yep.
By 2030, we're talking about 7 years from now. And I know they'll go beyond that with the way they have started. What are we doing? What are we running with? What do we have? We have raw talents. I'm a businessman sitting here. How many talent am I developing every year?
Meanwhile, Professor Robert Henson, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Communications and Technology, and also a professor in marketing, he says it is about time Ghana reposition itself to be able to attract the business world.
So I'm very much aware about how a certain brand appeal, a certain marketing acumen builds the sports proposition, whether it's football or basketball or baseball. Yeah. But here's my challenge. I think that when you take the global infrastructure, FIFA, then you have continental infrastructure, then you have the local football associations, I'm not too sure if the interlinkages are to our benefit. I'll explain. We are all jostling for the best football images, the best football propositions, and sometimes I wonder what benchmark. You said the guy looked at his phone and looked at demographics. I was writing. So there's a certain sense in which research, data, insights informs this sort of decision making. I'm not too sure if it's available or not. But I remember he said he was 10. I was younger. I went to Merton. It's right next to the stadium. Then I went to Richard. So I started going to the stadium from as soon as I could even talk. My uncles took me. We used to go that Sunday like 9 a.m. to watch Hassan Kotoko around 3. I remember Hesio Dantin and Samson Lante and because I lived in Osu, I remember Salem Park too. They used to play over there. So I've sort of seen football grow, but I'm not too sure whether it has grown backwards or grown forwards. I'm not too sure because, no, for the life of me, I don't think I was going to go near any football match this weekend, but I saw the Man U miracle. I saw Barca come back to fight before the referee blew his final whistle. Why am I oscillating between the UK and Spain when I live in Legon? I mean, something is not working.
Right, yeah.
So I think that if, as locals, we don't consume the football product, who in Serekunda in the Gambia is coming to consume it? Who is coming from Windhoek in Abibat or from Richards Bay in South? No, nobody will consume it. So I think we need to redefine this football proposition at a basic level. And then the youth proposition makes sense. But for me, more than the youth, where's the strategy? I'm not too clear. Maybe you are a sports guy, you can explain to me. But I'm not too clear where the strategy is. Whether it's coach football or it's regional football or it's the Premium League. I'm not too sure where the strategy is. But I think that we need to redefine the football proposition and be clear on what we want to achieve. And then for what it's worth, we have beyond the return and after the return and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure that football is part of our tourism proposition. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I think that we need to think through this at a broad macro level. And then at a policy level, I agree what we want to do with the sport. It will trickle down into the various substructures. Then football can really make a difference.
Robert Henson there speaking at a Joy Sports and Joy Business Thought Leadership Program at the Labadi Beach Hotel on Monday. Let's talk Ghana football politics now. And President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okrigor, has called on the football family to let go the past and embrace the future. According to him, it is about a time they come together as one family if they want football in Ghana to develop.
The 4 years ahead of us is to allow all of us to accelerate our rate of development. And it will not take only me, it will not take only my ESCO, it will take each one of us to let go of the past and open a new chapter of developing our game. A new chapter of bringing love to one another. A new chapter of ensuring that we stretch our hands around our shoulders and say, Midima, we are one.
Meanwhile, on the Ghana Football Association Executive Council, there will be only one female on that committee, and that is the Chief Executive Officer of Berry Ladies, Gifty Owari Mensah, who also doubles as a Deputy Director of the National Service Scheme. And Dr. Randy Abe says it is a shame to have only one woman on the powerful decision-making body when it comes to Ghana football.
It's a shame, and it only means that we need to work harder. And guess what? We've even been able to achieve this because through legislation, we've decided that it's only women who can vie for this position. But even when it comes to women's football, you see that about 99% of the owners of the clubs are male. And a lot of people who even work in that part of the industry are male. And so if we had even opened it up, I'm sure that maybe a woman could not even have come through. And so you would even realize that as part of even deepening this, in the reforms that we have embarked on with respect to our statutes, we're even looking at make some changes, bringing in the position of a second vice and letting that position be just for a woman. And so we're trying. What we need to do is that we need to perhaps be a bit more deliberate. Same way that deliberate act is brought a woman at all cost onto the ESCO, maybe we need to do a lot more and to try and get a lot more women to contest in the other constituents. So you're talking about Premier, Division 1, RFA, the constituent bodies. I mean, we need to try and encourage a lot more women to get involved and also to put themselves up for elections.
And just about a month ago, the Ghana Football Association organized its maiden Ghana Football Association Awards to honor outstanding players in the 2022-2023 Ghana Premier League season. It is the maiden awards ceremony that was organized under this administration led by Kurt Okreku. The prizes that were supposed to be presented to them by one of their sponsors, NASCO, were presented on Tuesday at its office in Ring Road. My colleague Ellen Benai de Fiamakwa was there and comes through with this report.
The awards were presented at the Electroland Ghana head office in Accra on Tuesday, October 10, 2023. 2022-23 Ghana Premier League champions, Mediama SC, swept multiple awards in the men's category as they stood out last season. Former Mediama defender Vincent Atenga was presented with the NASCO GPL Player of the Year prize for his outstanding performance for the Mauve and Yellow last season.
Well, first of all, I would thank NASCO for seeing my hard work, and they decided to recognize me. I said, glory be to God, and I would say NASCO has been good throughout the season, giving player of the month, coaches of the month, man of the match awards. I think NASCO has done their very, very best. So I'm okay. I'm okay with it. What I would say is every work you are doing, not in football per se, you need to play with passion. You need to do everything in life with passion, because you don't know who will be there, who will be out there looking at you, and you don't know when your blessing will come. So I will urge all my colleagues that anything you are doing in life, you need to do with passion.
Head coach Evans Adote was also presented with the GPL Coach of the Year award. Abednego Tete was also given his award for being the top goal scorer last season after netting 8 goals for BBN Gold Stars. In the women's category, head coach of Apem Dakwa Ladies, Jo Nana Adakwa, was presented with his award for being named as coach of the season after guiding his side to retain the title. Maria Ponsa walked home with 2 prizes for being named Player of the Year as well as top goal scorer in the Ghana Women's Premier League last season. Helen Alomenu of Asiam Socrates was also rewarded for being named the discovery of the 2022-23 season. Head of Marketing and Media Relations for NASCO Ghana, Adisa Ibrahim, spoke to Joy Sports.
When you look at our core values, Electroland Ghana Limited's core value, you will see that there's society. I think it's the top or the second. So when we mention society, what we mean by having society as one of our top core value is this. Like, you have these young girls out there that they have decided that they want to go on a positive tangent. They want to go on a very good path. Path here means they have a skill, they have passion, they have the can-do spirit to play soccer, and they've decided to go on that path. So as society being one of our top core values, these are the things we want to reward. Electroland is for society. Aside the fact that it's a corporate social responsibility, we love to see that there is development in not only our business, but in the lives of every Ghanaian.
That's your sport for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. One of the topmost stories that happened on Tuesday was the fact that some people in Jamestown are raining curses on the president of Ghana Boxing Authority, Ibrahim Kote Nikwe, for allegedly stripping a belt that was won by one boxer and tried to give it to another boxer because he feels the judges got it wrong and handed the belt to a different person. So we'll have details of that story in our subsequent bulletin. However, we even have some pictures of the women who assembled at the Bronze Boxing Gym on Tuesday, and they were pouring all manner of things on the floor and raining insults and curses on the leadership of Ghana Boxing Authority. This shall wrap up AM Sports here with me, Muftahu Nabida Abla. You can head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. Those were some of the shots from the Bronze Boxing Gym on Tuesday and see how they dress. That was quite interesting. The language behind was so unprintable that we wouldn't let that out on the television or for the audience to hear that. Thank you very much for your time.
For weeks, school children in Agobledokui have been home after flooding cut their school off from the rest of their community. The spillage of the Volta Dam and torrential rains have combined to threaten their dreams. The livelihoods of that of their families have also been put on hold as they wait for the flood waters to recede. It's been a month since many of these houses in this community flooded, and residents have to adjust to live with it as their rooms are drenched and filled with flood waters.
Since about 1996 that way. It's a seasonal thing, but coming every seasons. And from June that way it's come. When it's come like this, our schools have been closed. People have not have chance to go to school because it crossed the school road side, so that people cannot move to the school. So we close the school down, and our jobs have been lost, like farm activities. We can't go to farm again, so we just there here and be suffering from food and those aspects. Some houses, the people get in the inside their rooms, so they have to take blocks and put before make bed and sleep on it. Those are the problems are facing us. As we just stay to manage. When it goes, then we start our jobs activities. As when it comes, it takes about 3 months or 4 months that way.
So for about 3 or 4 months, you'll be living with water?
Yes.
We have become miserable. We can't even sleep over fears our houses may collapse. We just stay up all night.
For many of these residents, this annual occurrence frustrates them. For many, they've been seeing this ever since they were born.
The time that I was born in this town, every year, the water will come. But it also affects us, enter our rooms, our chicken. If they come like this, can't even cook. If you want to cook, you have to buy charcoal before. But if you have a cylinder, so you used to cook.
1 month. It's been 1 month since our houses were taken over by the floods. We need help. We are suffering and we are looking up to God.
Their call for help seem to have all fallen on deaf ears. No NADMO in sight to offer relief items. No efforts by the government, they say, to end the perennial flooding once and for all. MP for the area, Richard Kwame Sefe, who donated some items on behalf of the former president, John Dramani Mahama, to the community, urged government to come to their aid.
The VRS spillage, the control spillage, which is being done now, the flash waters, as well as the other SSs that are coming into play. For now, we are at a loss as to where to call on, because try as we couldn't achieve anything. If you come to the coast, you are talking of the tidal wave. You come around the hinterlands. This is what we are witnessing. So we are only pleading to the government and its agencies that it's time that they come to help us. If they don't, what is going to happen is that these people are going to remain like this, and God knows when.
Already, a number of MPs in these coastal areas of the Volta region are threatening to vote against government's budget if it does not make adequate provision to end this phenomenon. Mr. Safa says if this is what it would take to get government to act, he will join this protest.
We, as parliamentarians from the coastal area here, we have been doing our bit by raising questions, appealing to government over the few years we're in parliament. Now that the media, you have come to witness some of this, you can see the devastation on the face of the people. Look at them. People could not even go to their rooms to sleep, neither could they do anything meaningful. Representative of people of Anglo, and this is what they are suffering. If there is any means that I, their representative, could do to for the authorities to hear their cries, if that is the only means we should go, I will go by that. I, for one, if there is a way that we are going to vote, if there is a way we are going to vote, even if it's going to be 1 out of the 275, I will do that under protest. So that one, you count on me that I will have a way of trying to put some of these things across.
For now, and as residents wait for some action by those paid and those in office to fix these issues and make their lives better, they have to wait with patience for the next 2 or 3 months so that they can get their lives back to normalcy. After these flood waters recede, they can send their children back to school. But the rest of the world isn't waiting. For Joy News, Asah Asante, Agobledokui, Angloga District, Volta Region.
Thank you for staying with us. We hit the course or the road running in terms of our big stories now. Now, we focus on the extent of damage caused by the opening of the Akosombo Dam or the spillage of the dam. Some communities around the Volta River have been flooded, and we'll be hearing from residents and opinion leaders on how this is affecting them. You already saw in your shot right there some of the residents being engaged with and what they had to share. Really pathetic situation. But joining the conversation now, we have Maxwell Lukuto. He is the constituency representative, so to speak, of the NDC, parliamentary candidate elect. I was just trying to find the right way of addressing him. And he joins the conversation. Maxwell, I don't know whether to say good morning because it's quite a situation there, but good morning to you all the same.
Yeah, good morning. I hope you are doing good.
I am doing well under the circumstances. I've not had electricity for 3 days, so it is what it is. But from what we've seen so far in those pictures, they paint a very, very disturbing picture. These people are brothers and sisters. They have been through the situation for quite a while, and we all know what impact this even has on the structural integrity of buildings. But tell me, how long have you known that this has gone on? And this falls within your constituency, right?
Agobladokwi, as you have shown, does not fall within my constituency. That's within the Anglo constituency. But we interest you to know that we share boundary with the Anglo constituency, the Akachi South, Central Tongue, and even North Tongue. So those are the number of constituencies we share with. And we are along the Volta River, same as North Tongue, Central Tongue, and also the Anglo constituency. And so the situation is similar all around our places. It's unfortunate that we are experiencing this not out of a natural rain within our area, but as the effect of rains at the northern portions of Ghana and also the northern portions of countries sharing boundaries with us to the north, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and others. And so it's out of the effect of the spillage from the Akosombo Dam. Naturally, when it rains, some areas also get flooded, but those ones will be due to poor planning and settlement issues. But what is happening currently is out of the spillage that we are experiencing from the Akosombo Dam. You know, the level of the water should have been about 278 feet. But what they are experiencing is that when they're getting closer to that, then it becomes an issue and they may have to spill to make sure that the integrity of the dam is kept intact. And what we know is that the levels are close or even above the 278 that they are expecting. And so when those happen, then they would have to spill excess water, which would have to flow into the sea. And you know the sea has an amount of water it can contain at any time. So when it cannot go in directly like that, then it begins to spread. And unfortunately, those are the low-lying areas of along the Volta River begin to experience some of these things. And you know, there are creeks that are linked into the Volta Lake. So when it happens like that, the creeks also begin to overflow to the inland areas. And so those are the things we are experiencing now. The last week when we spoke, I told you that the spillage affected a lot of the people who have aquaculture businesses within the Volta River itself. You know, aquaculture, you put cages within the water, you feed the fishes with nets around them every day. When they grow, then you harvest and go and also sell. And so most of the people have their cages within the water, and it really affected them. Because when the level of the water rose, and then the speed with which it was coming was unusual, you realize that the anchors that were used to hold the nets in place began to tear apart. And once they were tearing apart, the metal frames that were used even for the cage itself, because of the speed of the water, began to cage in, and so they were getting broken. And so most people lost their cages. They had to virtually be chasing some of the cages on the water to be able to go get hold of them. Some they couldn't, and they had to go smash themselves into other material. So,
hello, Maxwell. Can you hear me?
A lot of people with cages. So beyond those ones, people who have their residences within the inland areas, as I described area, also have the level of water rising, and so it's entering into their homes. And so, like you saw in Agobladok, you have similar situations in Bekpo, in Aduto, Sonume, Sonupo. All those areas are experiencing some of these things. And so it's a terrible situation for us, water entering into people's homes. And you know that most of these buildings are not even made of concrete or blocks. They are made of mud. And so when it happens like that, then it becomes an issue. Water staying under mud building for 2-3 days, then it becomes an issue, and the buildings begin to give way. And so that is what we are experiencing now. People don't have kitchens to cook in, and even charcoal to cook with is a problem. So it's a terrible situation. Unfortunately, NADMO, as we know these days, is not resource enough to go to the. I've gone to some few places. I have cruised with boat on the Volta Lake itself. NADMO will have to shake itself and come back and sort out most of this situation. So to paint the picture to you, it is not the best of situation our people can find themselves in presently. And I know that some of these things, it's out of the depletion of the ozone layer, out of global warming that we are experiencing generally. That makes rainfalls unusually high, and it affects the dam, and the spillage is what is affecting us downstream here. My people in Sokwe are suffering, Vume, Tefle, all along the Volta Lake to Agbeve and also into the sea. The level of the water has risen so high that is beginning to enter the communities, and it's not the best of situations which we are experiencing.
The last time I went into that area, I mean, you would realize that as far as sea level is concerned, many of such places are not too high above sea level, which leaves them prone to some such disasters. But this has been happening. I heard one of the residents talking about the fact that this had been happening since the 1990s, specifically 1996, thereabouts. I mean, it's been about 27 years. We've had the Kita Sea Defense Project, among others. How do we get a grip on this situation? It is clear that on the back of global warming and everything that is happening, the sea levels will continue to rise. What then is the way forward on this beat? Because we can't keep doing this every year.
Yeah, for the sea, what can be done is the sea defense that comes out once a while. But sincerely, constructing a defense against the sea is a very, very daunting task. On few occasions or once a while, those things happen, but there are not things we can do along the whole of the sea width to prevent the rising level of the sea from entering our homes. And so, but as much as we can do, we would have to do these things, reconstruct, and make sure that we safeguard some of these the situations. I believe that if the seaport that is to be constructed at Keta is also done, it will create some gauge for the level of the water to come into inland and prevent the size from rising so high. So if the Keta Sea defense is done and the harbor is also done, I'm sure it will create a more serene atmosphere and reduce the effect of the rising sea level on the people.
But that has been in the offing for a long time, this sea defense thing. At least there must be some crucial points that we can deal with to forestall these happenings. We may not be able to do it across the length and breadth of that space, but at least there must be crucial areas that are affected every year that we can target, right?
The technical challenge there is that once you do one end, then the level, the water moves to the other side and it goes to affect them. So to get it completely solved, you need to do along the whole of the beach. I hear Togo also has done a complete sea defense. I'm not too sure, but I reading some literature tells me that they have done so much there, for which reason it's shifted to the Ghana side of the sea. And it means that when we also do our portion, we may have to shift to some other side. And so that is a technical challenge, even with doing the sea defense at crucial areas and leaving some areas out. But notwithstanding, I'm sure that our technical people would have to examine this. I'm sure it is the challenge with finances, which is another issue affecting us, unable to do these things. If we have money, I'm sure government would have pushed for these things to be done. And so I see that also to be a challenge. And I don't know how soon we'll become so liquidated to the extent that we would want to construct sea defense walls along the whole of the sea.
As far as you are concerned, I know that from time to time when some such happenings arise, it is you, the members of parliament, even before help comes, you, the members of parliament, among others, are called upon. What has been your reaction? Though you say it is technically not within your constituency, within the surrounding communities that border your constituency, what has been your reaction? Have you had to reach out to some people?
No, I didn't say that it isn't within my constituency. I said the particular clip you show, Agobladukwi, is not within my constituency.
Okay,
and I continue to say that my constituency has been affected. I went ahead to mention communities within my constituency that are to be affected.
Maxwell, then you lost me at a point because I started by situating the conversation and saying your constituency was affected, and then you went on to say no, and it is, so you were referring to the initial place that we showed. I get that.
Yes.
What has been your reaction to your constituents in terms of any assistance or help?
Even before now, knowing that some areas get affected during the heavy rains, I went around some communities to see what is likely to happen when these rains come or if the spillage happens. And I had to technically advise some of them. You know, I am an expert in development planning. I am a licensed surveyor, and some of these things fall within our domain. Technically, I looked at some areas that I felt that we'll have to do some technical engineering. And my advice was that we may have to look for a dredger, or we'll have to look for an excavator to dig deep some trenches to allow flow of water. There were some buildings springing up at areas that I technically saw to be within waterways. I advised some few people that we need to get those things off. The Assembly is well aware of some of these places and may have to take action by demolishing some of these places and creating drains for the water to flow through when it rains. Those are the things we can do technically on the ground. Like you alluded to, I'm not already the MP, and so resources that come for the people of the constituency does not come through me. I'm sure my MP is on top of issues. I understand he visited some few communities and donated some few items like we saw Honorable Sepe also doing. I will do my bit, but that will not be on the large scale as you are expecting to hear or see. I will do my bit in the smallest form that I can and also give technical advice to people whose places are falling low, so much below sea level, to advise them to move to higher ground for now until the water recedes. In the meantime, people should be careful how they build. Because when you speak to them building at places like that, they will tell you this thing happened as far as 68. The major one happened in 63, another one in 68. That's about 60 years ago. And so their expectation is not that these days the level of water would rise so much to affect their buildings. But that is the situation we find ourselves in here. And so residents who are
basically,
according to the tenets of the
basically, it means a certain knowledge of the situation is also lost. More education is needed, because if they are fully aware of global warming and the challenges of climate change, they wouldn't be saying some of these things.
Yes, exactly. So it behoves on us to continually educate them and tell them that even though the last time it happened was 68, any day, anytime, because of global warming, these things can reoccur again. And you see, sometimes it's out of poverty also matters in these things, because if that is the only land bequeathed to the particular person or the family, he would have to move from there, go look for money, buy land somewhere else to be able to build. So they feel that this is my grandfather's land. I don't have money to go buy from any other place. This is the only place I know. This is the only place I can build. So those are some of the problems that come along with some of these issues as well. Some may know, but because they can't help it, they can't do anything about it, they are forced to stay there. But the effect that these things bring is very dire. And so, like we continue to experience in some places of Accra, people know that places flood during the rains, but they are forced to go pay rent and stay in there. When the rains come, their rooms are flooded, they are affected, and they move out. The next time they come in there. So that is the kind of situation we find ourselves in. Basically, I'm sure because of poverty. So people know and they cannot move because of poverty. People don't know, they go to do it because people go to buy some of those places during the dry season, and it's only when it rains that they will know that this place is susceptible to flooding and all those other issues. So it's a myriad of challenges that we need to continually educate people to understand this, and those that can help themselves would have to do.
Even talking about poverty and the grinding poverty and how it impacts people's decisions. You can also look at the fact that a lot of these, like you rightly mentioned, some of the buildings are actually made of thatch and mud, and these cannot withstand any of such shocks, which also basically imperils or endangers them whenever these tides, hit, or wherever there's a spillage. So what do you think can be done? I mean, since you are a surveyor and all of that, what do you think can be done? Sensitization, education on the fact that maybe they should reconstruct or move to other places, because this is like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. In the meantime, the only thing we can do immediately is places that are more convenient for them to move to and be housed for some few days until the water recedes. Beyond that, the assembly has to be up and doing and making sure that those who don't have to build at places that are susceptible to flooding do not do it. You see, the assemblies will always complain about lack of resources to be able to undertake these processes. But when it happens, it is the same assembly we come to crying and looking for help. And so when the assembly begin to do their work so well, it takes away most of these issues. The last time I went to a community, an island community, and I realized that there's a developer who is building so close to the water body. Wow. And I had to explain to them that when those things happen, as soon as the spillage of this nature and the level of the water rises, it goes directly into your home. And so a lot of education is needed, a lot of making sure that people do what they have to do and don't do what they don't have to do. I mean, checking and making sure that people do according to the rules of engagement is also necessary. The assemblies, the DCs, the technical department, the works and housing department of the assembly should make sure that they are up to that to ensure that people don't build where they don't have to build. There's so much lax in the system. And unfortunately, there are a few instances that you hear that the assembly, the people who have to make sure that they monitor these things are themselves compromised by these developers to do things to the disadvantage of others. So it's
right. Maxwell, we're struggling with the connection to you. It's a bit patchy, I think, based on where you are. But thank you so much, Maxwell Lukuto, for joining us on this conversation. Of course, that conversation, the broader conversation continues, whether it is the tide the sea itself encroaching on territory or any spillages that happen from time to time. This is a disastrous situation, and it's affecting our brothers and sisters in that part of the country. The solutions, well, the verdict is out there, and we're waiting to see what help will be brought to bear. Maxwell Lukuto is the Member of Parliament, the candidate-elect for South Tong in the NDC. He joined us for a conversation. Well, stay with us, because moving from here, we transport ourselves to Liberia, where indeed elections have been held Tuesday, and we've had a lot of news streaming in on the back of happenings there. We'll take you to Liberia shortly as we interact with Nanayao Jima, our man on the beat. That right after the break.
The statement by Liberia's Electoral Commission explained the downpour within southeastern counties affected transportation of election materials. Sino and River Seas are counties badly affected by the rain. Efforts by staff of the commission to cross the river to deliver election materials proved futile, negatively affecting conduct of polls in at least 11 precincts. A truck dispatched to deliver materials in the Battle area was stuck in mud, and alternative arrangement to deploy motorbikes for the mission proved futile. In the Riverside County, some polling stations received materials after 11 a.m., resulting in late start of polls. Most polling stations were overcrowded.
I'm here to vote because I came early this morning to cash out my vote. Yeah. But then since that, the line is too much, so I just decided to wait a little bit until it can reduce.
Did you also come here 6 a.m.?
Yes.
And you're still waiting?
I'm still waiting.
You don't know when exactly you vote. Can you wait for that long?
I will wait for the time.
Okay. Though official statistics on the election are yet to be revealed, observation from many polling stations proved high voter turnout. By the close of day, data from Situation Room of Economic Community of West African States revealed the election was largely peaceful. Ebenezer Esiedu explains.
Well, from the report that you received on ground, it appears there have not been any security incidents of concern. Obviously, when voting process or voting is going on, you hardly will get, unless of course people try to hijack, tamper with the ballot boxes and all that. Otherwise, usually it is cool. Oftentimes, where we start having security challenges are when tallying and collation are done. The only incident that we have actually received from observers on ground was in regard of a polling station or a polling precinct where the seals of the ballot boxes that were actually brought in were broken. So because of that, both voters and party agents refused and rejected. As we had information from ground, from observers, as at 3:50, they had been assured that the EC were sending new sealed ballot boxes.
Leader of the ECOWAS mission, Professor Atahiru Jega, together with some leaders of the community, observed the process from the casting of first ballot through to its counting.
We have just observed the counting of ballots in the polling unit where we observed the opening. And it has been done very, very transparently. And insofar as this polling unit is concerned, we are pleased with what we have seen. Our hope is that what we have seen here is what has happened all over the country. And if that turns out to be the case, then no doubt Liberians will have something to be very proud of.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Monrovia.
Thank you for staying. We go back to our conversation on Liberia, our neighboring country, and Nanaya Ojima is standing by to get interactive with us. Nanaya, I know you're still in Monrovia. Where exactly do you find yourself? And we know that as of now, 19 candidates have contested against attempting to unseat President George Weah. What's the latest you can report from Monrovia?
I'm speaking to you presently from Mamba Street. In Monrovia, and as of now, what is happening in Monrovia is when you tune into the various media platforms here, is that results from yesterday's election keep trickling in. Now it's very, very difficult to put them together and interpret the data that we are picking as of now. We're expecting that by 4 p.m. the National Electoral Commission here in Liberia will give us the first update of the results that they have, so that at that time we can have something concrete to deliver to the people of Ghana, or the people listening to us.
But so far, from what information you've gathered, of course, you cannot put the cart before the horse and say categorically that this is how things are going. But from the whispers in the system and what information is available, what can we expect? What are we looking forward to?
From the data that we've been able to gather since yesterday, it looks like the prediction of many is coming to pass. That is, that the election will be between the CDC and the UP. From the figures, obviously, the two have taken a commanding lead, leaving behind the 18 others. And so in the various counties, it looks like these two are the candidates that the electorate were looking at when they went to the polls yesterday. Yesterday, the election went on very smoothly, but unfortunately, there were some areas where it was very difficult for the election materials to reach them on time. We are talking about the Sonai County, and also we have some areas within the Sonai County where the election materials couldn't reach on time. Now, the reason that the National Electoral Commission are given is that due to the heavy rains that that county has been seeing for the past 5 days, the river around that area had to overflow. For that reason, it was difficult for the Electoral Commission to get past that river and transport the materials. Now, it took hours. So it was later yesterday, around 4 p.m., that the materials were delivered to this area. And for that matter, they had to start the election very late. And the Electoral Commission, in a press release, said that they will give that area ample time to go through the system and ensure that they are also not left behind when it comes to the democratic exercise in Liberia. There's another situation where, because of the rains, some areas had become very hard to reach. There were muddy terrains. So what the Electoral Commission had to do was that the vehicle transporting the materials got stuck at a point. And for that reason, they had to contract some motorbikes to help them transport the materials to these areas. Unfortunately, the motorbikes couldn't do the job, and it resulted in some of the materials also getting wet. So the Electoral Commission had to find another way of getting them the materials, especially after these rains had stopped. So these areas were also badly affected by the rains. Later materials were delivered. So they also had to vote late into the night. So aside these two cases, generally the election was very calm. It was very peaceful. We recorded a few incidents of shortage of voting materials, which the National Electoral Commission ensured that these materials were replaced for the voting to continue. I've been able to get some reports from the ECOWAS mission, that's the observer team who were out there, and from the reports that I have cited, it looks like things were very calm in almost all of the counties. The common issue that were reported is that there were overcrowding in some of the polling stations due to the high enthusiasm among the people and the slow nature of the election itself.
Now, in these areas, especially those areas that were flooded that you mentioned were affected, you say the people voted deep into the night. So does that mean that everyone who wanted to vote was actually able to vote, or was there a continuation of voting? In other words, did everything cease on Tuesday?
And from the statement and the reports that I received on the ground as at 8 p.m.,
right,
the people were allowed to vote yesterday. That was part of the plans that the National Electoral Commission had made for these people. Yesterday, I got in touch with some people within the National Electoral Commission asking about these issues, and they told me that they were making plans or arrangements for the election to continue. They wanted to wrap everything up on Tuesday so that the counting could begin, and if the mechanism put in place should be very effective, it's very likely that if these people are to vote on time, the Commission will have ample time to put the data together and get the results out on time. Now, the Commission's calendar, it is very likely that the results itself, the certified results itself, should, for the presidential, should be out by the 25th of this month.
Right before you go, so we know that the CDC and the UP, they have their strongholds in different parts of the country. So beyond Monrovia, what information has trickled down to you in terms of voting patterns, in terms of what has happened there, in terms of voting, people going out to vote, voter numbers, what people have been saying? Have you gathered any information on that?
Okay, so from the reports that I have received so far, when it comes to the voter turnout, the EC is expecting at least 2.4 million people. That's the number on the voter register to come out and vote. And according to the reports I've received from the ECOWAS and what I've cited from other observation missions, there was high turnout in these areas. Almost all of the counties within Liberia, people came out and ensured that they cast their ballots in favor of their candidates. Now, due to the slowness of the counting of ballots here in Liberia, it will be very difficult for us to get the figures of how things are panning out in the various counties on time. For instance, yesterday I decided to and observe the counting of ballots in one of these counties, and it's just for the presidential. It traveled through to somewhere 1 a.m. This is unusual when it comes to counting of ballots in Ghana. Just for the presidential in one polling station, when they are sorting these ballots out, it's a whole lot of time. It takes a whole lot of time. All the representatives of all of these aspirants have to accept that indeed these ballots were cast for this, and they take one ballot out and show almost everybody in the room before an agreement is made that this ballot was cast in favor of that candidate or the other. So their sorting process is somehow cumbersome, and it has resulted in the slow counting of ballots in the election.
Naya Ojima, we'll leave you to focus on happenings there, and as and when we can gather the scoop, we shall come to you. Naya Ojima is our man on the beat. He's in Monrovia in Liberia as they go to the polls to determine whether George Manewea will retain the presidency or we shall have a new president. Well, stick and stay with us. Up next, we have more discussions coming your way. On December the 19th, 2011, United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 66-170 to declare October 11 as the International Day of the Girl Child, to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. We have a conversation on that coming up shortly on the AM Show. Welcome back on the AM Show. It gives me joy when I have to talk about matters like this one. And today we celebrate on the back of that December 19, 2011 United Nations General Assembly Resolution 66-170, declaring today, October the 11th, the International Day of the Girl Child, to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. Personally, I've had to interact with many young people. Sometimes it is sanitary pads they need. Sometimes it is the taxes on them. Sometimes it is circumstances that don't allow them to go to school like they would want. The challenges are many. Currently, with what is going on between Israel and Palestine, young girls are affected. So as we celebrate a day like this, we reflect on myriad matters affecting young girls across the world. Well, joining us for a conversation in the studio this morning, we have two fantastic young ladies. I'll be introducing them to you shortly. And they are with Plan International, and they are making it happen as far as young girls are concerned. So joining us, we have Mary Kudoto. She's a peer educator. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Put it there. I hope you're going to be excited.
Yes, please.
We also have Linda Akamensa. She's a youth and girls advocate. I can't give her a fist bump and not give you. There you go. How are you guys?
Good. Well, fine, thank you.
Oh, you're not sounding it. You're not sounding excited. International Day of the Girl Child, and you're not excited.
Great.
You're doing great.
Yes,
that's more like it.
Excited as well.
So, I've mentioned what your names are, but give us a better idea of who you are, what you do with Plan International. I'll start with you, Mary.
Okay, so my name is Kudoto Mary. I'm a peer educator on Plan Be Smart projects, where
What does that even mean? Educator. What does that mean?
Okay, so I do sensitization on girl child rights and women empowerment as well. Okay. Yes.
That's interesting. How long have you done this?
Oh, for about 2 years ago.
For about 2 years now?
Yes, please.
Wow. 2 years. That's some good, stuff you can put on your CV already. Linda?
My name is Linda. I am a youth advocate with Plan International, where I champion the rights of young people and women, particularly by raising their voices and raising my voice on issues that affect women.
And what exactly do you do at IDG? What exactly is your role? Just give us some specifics. You both of you have spoken about some of what you do, peer educator, this and that. But on a daily basis, what is expected of you, for example?
So on a daily basis, issues that concern women, like for example...
Yeah.
So for example, currently we are drumming home the issue of taxes on sanitary towels for women. So when issues like these come up, we join the fight, we join the conversations, and make sure that those policies are effected.
And for you, Mary?
Okay, so me too. I see to it that girls attain higher position in life. So also assure them that their office is not the kitchen alone, but they have something better to do in life.
Okay, so that antiquated mindset of, the woman is meant to be in the kitchen and the man rather should go out there. You're trying to disabuse the minds of your peers about that. So what category of people would you usually meet? Your age mates, your contemporaries?
Yeah, my age mates, yes.
And for you, usually?
Yeah, my age mates, young people, and sometimes older ones, because the conversation around discrimination has been long going on, and so people don't even realize that they are being discriminated against. So we raise their voices and then we point it out to them.
Of course, workplace discrimination is also prominent in there. Equal pay for equal work is not really equalizing, but we'll see how it goes. Let's talk about the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child. Linda, would you like to share with us?
This year's theme, international theme, is Invest in Girls' Rights, Our Leadership, Our Well-being. Yes.
Let's do this. Invest in girls' rights, our leadership,
our well-being.
What sort of impact does the theme have on you, reflecting on how far this has come all through the 20th century till now? How relevant is this theme, do you think?
Okay, so when they keep on investing in we girls, it also gives us the zeal to do something to push ourselves to attain our full potential or achieve our aspirations.
That's interesting. What's your take on the
and when we talk about the investment in girls' rights, Asha has clearly mentioned that is like an outward sort of investment. We are also pushing for inward investment. So the girls themselves should be able to take up roles. They should be able to avail themselves and take up opportunities to be better at what they do and make sure that they go out there and then achieve their potentials.
So you are goals advocating with Plan International Ghana. Locally, what theme are we running with?
Okay, so our theme is Girls Activism and Resourcing.
Girls Activism and Resourcing.
Yes.
Okay. Why did we choose that?
Okay, so that one I'll allow my sister to explain further.
The girls
I like
activism,
that, Linda.
Yes, the girls activism. Plan has continuously invested in women and women's activism. So when we say girls activism is by giving them the opportunity to have a voice on issues that matter to them, issues that concern them, especially if it affects their entire life in the future. And then when we talk about the resourcing, is giving them the necessary opportunities and equipping them with the skills and with the needed resources to be able to achieve their aspirations that they have set for themselves. Yes.
I'll come to both of you now with one question. In all your work, and even looking at the work of your colleagues, what are some of the challenges that you realize girls, young women face at home? We've already started talking about some of the stereotypes. Oh, the woman must be banished to the kitchen. At home, at the workplace, in the community. What are some of the challenges you see every now and then? Starting with you, Mary.
So in our various homes, girls are not allowed to take part in decision making. And they are not allowed, they are not allowed the girl's voice to be heard and seen. For example, child marriage. The girl doesn't have any zeal to say whether I am interested or no. They just give her the girl for marriage, which is not good. Right. So this is the biggest challenge our girls are facing in our homes.
Well, while you say that our girls, some of them are going through that, but I also know places where they are given a lot of opportunity to express themselves and all of that. But I agree with you, Mary. I think it was sometime over the last 2 years, we've had a few instances of people. I remember one was up north. They were trying to smuggle the girl to, I think, Burkina Faso, also her husband. And she was just a child, basically, and she was being married off. So true. But from where you sit, what are some of the experiences you have about this?
I will talk about some of the challenges girls face in school and then some of the challenges that they face at the workplace.
Right.
Yes, so for schools, there are not enough gender-sensitive policies for women to make it conducive enough, especially when it comes to sanitary conditions, proper sanitary conditions. Some schools still do not have a changing area where girls can make changes when they are in their menstrual periods. And there are some schools that because they don't have that, girls would run away from school to go and change in the afternoon and never return. Other girls would also not even go to school at all in that particular month, which means that every week, 1 week out of every month, girls who are not in areas where there are these changing areas would miss classes. So eventually they might have to drop out of school. And then at the workplace, I think that there are not a lot of gender sensitive policies. And I think this is a better time for us to push for a 3-day.
That's why you're here.
Yes. A 3-day paid leave for every woman, aside the already existing of days at every institution, because we know that women go through changes every time, in every period of the month. And the first 3 days of these periods can be challenging and very troublesome. So we are pushing for a paid leave for all girls during that period of their month so that they can go back, recuperate, and come back better and energized, instead of walking through that particular period and being inactive. It is going to take a toll on both the girl and even the institution. So it is going to be mutually beneficial if institutions are able to adopt that, and would admonish government to push for that policy. Admonish,
I like the term. They are admonishing government.
Yes.
And they are admonishing.
Yes.
So here's where it gets interesting. I've been advocating the removal of taxes. You know, how do we even categorize that as a luxury product? You know, okay, let me watch my. I was about to say it makes no, but I'm sure you get the drift. Yes. But especially when it comes to sanitary products, sanitary pads, and the taxes on them, there are two sides to the conversation. The AGI, the Association of Ghana Industries, has said that if the taxes are removed on the foreign ones you bring into the system, it would mean that they cannot compete and that they will be driven out of business. But others have also said that these taxes make no real sense. Where do you sit? I mean, for you, the bottom line is that you can have access to them. But what do you think about that conversation, both of you? Mary, what do you think?
Okay, so you see, sanitary pad is a very essential need for the adolescent girl. So if those tasks are imposed on them, most of the adolescent girl will be like, okay, if I can't buy the sanitary pad, then let me use unclean material. Those things can lead to the contracting of reproductive diseases, which also lead to another cause of buying medicines and other things. So we think we are pleading with the government to do something to the sanitary pad for us.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I think menstruation is a natural occurrence. We cannot wait for local industries to get on their feet before we push for issues that are very, very sensitive. So we stand, I think Plan has been pushing for this. Plan has been drumming home the removal of sanitary towels for a very long time now. And today we are actually very happy that the voices are more as an MP has introduced the bill to Parliament. We are pleading with governments that these taxes are removed because it is essential and it's a natural occurrence. We cannot decide when to have menstruation and when not to have menstruation.
I know for certain that if anybody could decide, I do not want to go through that every month, no one would opt to go through it every month. It's part of a natural cycle that women must go through, even as they also, give birth to all of us. It's a natural process, so we shouldn't make it even more difficult for them. As we wrap this conversation, Mary, Linda, today is the International Day of the Girl Child. On a day like this, we get to highlight some of the challenges that young women, girls, go through. What would be your message to parents, people in power, politics, religious leaders? Because sometimes too, religion plays a role. Even the child marriages you speak of, sometimes religion comes in. I'm sure you understand where I'm going. What would be your message to the powers that be out there, including your parents?
Okay, so my message to the parents is that they should give both responsibility to both boys and girls so that
no discrimination.
Yes.
Right.
So that the girls can also have access to certain things like education. We can even get a little time to learn. Not that they should give all the freedom to the boys while we are suffering. It's not good.
All right. Okay.
And
Linda?
when the conversation of equality is started, I think that a lot of people cower out. But then there's a quote by Michelle Obama that says that no country can ever truly flourish if it stifles the potentials of its women and deprives itself of having the contributions of half of its population. So with that in mind, if you decide to push women on the side and not have a lot of gender-sensitive policies that can make them be able to be part of conversations and decisions that affect everyone, then it means that there is a problem. So today, our message is that we are pushing that there are enough gender-sensitive policies that can make women comfortable enough to be able to engage in conversations and aspire and achieve their goals.
Right. Which high schools did you attend? There's a reason I'm asking.
Me, I do everything in the house. Like I'm the mother for my house.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I do everything. Yes.
Interesting. Do you mind telling me how old are you?
Oh, I'm 18 years old.
She's already shouldering all these responsibilities. At her age, she should be allowed to live her life, enjoy her youth. Basically, part of your youth is being stolen from you. That's the reality. Unfortunate. This is why we ought to reach out. How about you?
At home or my high school?
High school.
Okay, my high school, Infantiman Girls.
Infantiman Girls. Okay. I'm asking that because, again, something that I have wanted to see happen in the National Science and Math Quiz. No female, single-sex female school has won it before. I was happy when recently, though it's my older brother's school, St. Peter's fell to Wesley Girls. Yes. Hopefully this becomes the year. International Day of the Girl Child, and then a girls' school wins. But the boys, they say like. We'll see how that goes. But Linda and Mary, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I hear there's some sign you do.
Yes.
Can you share with us?
Yes. Girls get equal. So the equal sign.
Okay, so which hand? Like this?
Other hands, yes. Just equal. So just it should be at par.
Okay.
And then we have the sign of activism for girls.
Okay. All right.
So you should be able,
equal.
Yes, you should be able to engage in conversations and join conversations that affect you as a young girl. Example, the ongoing sanitary pad conversation. It's important because it affects you as a girl.
I've been a long time advocate on that one. Hopefully someday. I've heard conversations in certain circles. Hopefully some change will be brought to bear. Mary, thanks for coming.
Thank you for
and
having
keep
us.
holding it down at home, yeah?
Okay, yes, please. Thank you.
Things will get better with time. And that has been our conversation on the International Day of the Girl Child. We're really proud to have had these girls, these young women, join us in the studio. Mary Kudoto is a peer educator. Linda Akamensa is a youth and girls advocate. And they joined us for this all-important conversation. Do stay with us. We'll be up next with a lot more on the AM show. We'll be right back. Welcome back on the AM show. And of course, it's National Science and Math Quiz season one more time. We have a number of sponsors making this installment in the 30th season possible. I'm sure your school is in there. And if your school is not in there, walla. Well, we'll be getting into a conversation on that shortly. But right before we do, your favorite TV game show in Ghana, Step Up, is back with another amazing this season. This time, we're stepping up with Syntax Tank. Step Up with Syntax Tank will see contestants answer trivia questions to win cash prizes of between 400 Ghana cedis and 6,000 Ghana cedis weekly, and other products from our sponsors. So this season, you, viewing at home, should watch out for the Syntax Tank question of the week. Be the first to answer correctly via WhatsApp or SMS to the number 0508 338 888 and win incredible prizes from sponsors. The person who answers most of the weekly questions the fastest gets a 65-inch, get it to 65-inch Samsung television at the end of the season. So Step Up with Syntax Tank, a unique television experience. Step Up with Syntax Tank is sponsored by Bell Ice, MTN Mobile, and Angel Cola. Well, let's get into the next conversation now. And I was talking about sponsors for the National Science and Math Quiz. And guess what? We have one of them in the studio today joining the conversation. Esther Abuajewa. Are you the Esther spoken of in the Bible? Was that you?
Yes, it was me.
It was, eh?
Yes.
So what are you back here doing? How come you're back?
I'm back to work for VAC.
I see. Yes. Esther Abuajewa is Sales, Marketing and Communications Executive at Virtual Security Africa. That's a number of roles. Sales, marketing, communications.
It's one department. In one department.
One department.
Yes.
I say you have 3 roles, so 3 salaries.
David.
No, I'm appealing on your behalf.
Thank you.
Anyway, on a more serious note, the National Science and Math Quiz has started again, and you are supporting this year, which is interesting. So far, as you followed the National Science and Math Quiz, what has been your impression? What have you made of the contest so far?
Okay, thank you. Good morning to your viewers. Okay, so far, I think it's been good. Just like every year, we get these students come up to show their intelligence, their craftsmanship, and everything in what they do. This year has been good as compared to previous years. Yes, just that some schools didn't make it in the prelims, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But you know, it's a competition. We definitely have people going on the top and people coming down. So, yeah, it's been good.
Is your school in there? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, Konogo Dumasi Senior High School.
Course. Great course.
Great course. Ediano, shout out to all.
Oh,
yes, all great course students and old students. Okay, so we're in the prelims, but unfortunately.
Shouts to my own friend. You know yourself. I don't want to mention your name, else you say I'm doing Diabot on the show. But what got you on board this year as a sponsor of the National Science and Math Quiz? Virtual Security Africa. We'll talk about what you do, but what excited you to come on board this year? Okay, so Virtual Security Africa is a sub-company under the Virtual Africa Group of companies. So we are into, let's say, the physical security. That is the CCTVs, alarms, and all others. And our sister company, Virtual InfoSec Africa, is into cybersecurity, information security, managing data, and all other stuff. So we, as a company, as a Virtual Africa Group, we believe we are huge fans of science, and we believe in the power of scientific explorations and innovations. Because, mind you, these kids are the ones growing up to be the engineers, the software engineers, the computer scientists that we need in our company. So anything that has got to do with science, we support. I see, and that's what got you on board, got you excited. What have you thought so far of the performances? And we've seen some girls' schools doing amazing things, including Wegehe. They showed the Peters boys something small, small. Yes, it's okay. Personally, I'm a fan of St. Peter's because I'm from Kuru. Oh yeah, it's my older brother's school, but they did them pasa. Yes, but then looking at the girl child, empowering the girl child, I was so happy. Yes, and I wish going forward, we get a lot of single sex schools, like female schools, joining this competition and moving to the top. Great. Yes. Of course, that's the hope for all of us because we need that balance. It's been all boys' schools and I think only a few mixed schools, Achimota, taking it at some point. But tell us now about Virtual Security Africa. Okay. What do you do? What are your products? What are your services? All right. So Virtual Security Africa, it's a wholly owned Ghanaian company which has been in existence for 15 years. And for 15 years in operation, we've been providing security solutions, integrated security solutions, like ranging from perimeter detection, intrusion detection to surveillance systems. With that, we are talking about the sales and distribution of CCTV, fire alarm, intruder alarm, body scanners, access control, time and attendance, like anything physical security you can talk of that you would need in your space. Yes, that is basically what you do. The sales and installation, so we do it ourselves. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so this is like a one-stop shop for everything security. Sure. Some people ask me when they meet me, they say, do you know a company that can give you, some of the CCTV capture only visual, but others capture both audio and visual. So audio, visual, CCTV cameras. Do you have some of those as well? Yes, we do. We have ones that capture voice as well. We have ones that do not capture voice as well. So it depends on the customer, the client, what he or she needs, the kind of threats that a person has, that we advise you on which of them to go for. Okay. Now, this platform, Joy News, has a huge market share. And again, when it comes to NSMQ, everyone wants to rep their school. The following is massive. I'm sure the people out there want to know, what packages do you have? Do you have any discounts, for example, on your products for those who may be watching and thinking, I need that? Please share. Yeah, so we have promotions ongoing. This is our 15th year in operation. And as part of our 15 years, we are giving back to society. We are giving free gadgets. We are giving free devices. Free? Yes, free. Like free? Free. If you buy any CCTV package, you get intruder alarm system
or an audio video intercom for free. So the video intercom is an upgrade of that traditional doorbell. When somebody comes to stand in front of your gate, the person presses a bell, you have to come out to see who is there.
So you can ask,
but ours,
who is there?
Yes.
And
and you can even view on the screen. If it has a small monitoring screen that you can view who is standing outside. We are giving that for free. And the intruder alarm system is something that works hand in hand with the CCTV. It gives you alert if somebody wants to intrude into your premises, whether you are home or you are away. When you are away, you get the notification on your phone. If you are home, the alarm goes off. Yeah, and it is very, very
I think my director, Yao Forsen, will need one of these for his residence.
Oh, okay.
So right after this, I think you have to make a beeline.
Wouldn't you need one yourself?
I think I'll need to take one. I'll get a good discount, right?
Yes, you will.
Very good discount.
Very good discount.
Okay.
And the discount is going up for everybody. So just walk into our showroom. I'll put our contact numbers out there.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so we are in Accra, we are in Kumasi, we are in Takrady. So in Accra, our main office is at Tesano, behind Alive Chapel. And our showroom is at Jowlu, opposite the UBA, first floor, Nana Depa Plaza. And in Kumasi, we are at Santasi Runabout, opposite the Gold Filling Station. And Takrady, we are off the Kintampo Road, very close to Toyota Ghana Limited. You can follow us on our social media platforms at Virtual Security Africa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. You can call us on 055-874-0764, 055-874-0764.
All right. So on social media, you've mentioned, do you have a website, anywhere else people
Yes, okay, so our website,
you?
I nearly forgot. Our website is www.virtualsecurityafrica.com.
www.virtualsecurityafrica.com. So Virtual Security Africa, one word, together.
Yes, together, one.
Okay. Final words?
Okay, so my final words, it's going to the general public. We are in the season of NSMQ, National Science and Maths Quiz. I will entreat all students of these schools that are competing. I know and we understand that you help these students with studies, build dining halls and other things for them in their schools. These old students associations should take this opportunity and come to Virtual Security Africa. We can sit with you and get a deal with you to provide security solutions for your school.
Wow.
Yes, we can do that. So we are calling all student associations of these secondary schools. These kids are the ones going to grow up to be our engineers, our doctors, because they are in the sciences and all that. So let's try and help them. As we are providing water, sanitation, everything in the schools, we can help them with security. Yeah.
Indeed, we can. It's not even we can. We must. We must
yes.
do that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Esther, for joining the conversation this morning. Esther Abuajewa, of course, she is a sales, marketing, and communications executive with Virtual Security Africa. Well, you can see in your shot, we have excitement coming your way as far as today's draw on the National Science and Math Quiz are concerned. We'll be bringing you some of that shortly. In fact, we'll be crossing over to Kumasi now to give you the latest contest there and see how things fashion out.